All right, we got 5 stats that you need to know for this week's game against the Green Bay Packers, and I got my stats here. So, Steve, when you're ready, let's start with stat number 1. I wanted to find a positive stat to highlight for the Browns because the rest aren't great. I'm just going to put it out there like that. Not great. But on the positive, the rookies have been really, really good for the Browns so far this season. We mentioned this earlier in the week, but Quinshon Judkins had 61 rush yards against the Baltimore Ravens in Week 2. Of those 61, 57 came after contact, Jason, which is just an incredible percentage. A lot of that came on the 31-yard run, and it's also a negative offensive line stat that he was hit so often before the line of scrimmage, but 57 of his 61 rush yards came after contact against the Ravens. That is a very promising sign moving forward for the Browns' second-round pick. And we got to give some love to Harold Fannin. He has 12 receptions. That is second all-time for a rookie tight end in their first 2 games. He played 40-something snaps, 44 or 43 snaps against the Ravens. They used him in a bunch of different alignments, including 17 at tight end, 21 in the slot, and 2 out wide, and 1 in the backfield. He has 111 total yards. That's the 3rd most among all rookies. And he is the 2nd most, I mentioned this earlier, but the 2nd most catches ever by a rookie tight end in his first 2 games. So I just wanted to give a little spotlight to those 2 rookies who have put up some pretty incredible numbers through the early part of their NFL careers. That's the good guys. Any questions?
Well, it was funny because this was a painful week for Browns fans when Baker and Nick are playing, and I saw all of it where everyone's so angry with Baker's success and Nick and Houston and the way that they hugged afterwards. Guys, Quinshon Judkins is going to be really good.
Yeah.
And it hurts in the moment. And had it worked with Deshaun, I actually think Nick would probably still be here. But when they sort of went to the hard reset, they went to the reset in the backfield as well. And, it would appear it's now Friday. We still haven't heard anything from the NFL. I would assume he's not going to be suspended. He met with them. He's already played 1 game. They're preparing for him to play. I would assume that all of that is behind him at this point. He's going to be a really good running back for the Browns. I feel really, really good about that. And you saw a glimpse of it. I mean, he had 1 padded practice, 2 days on the field last week. And he had 60 yards. And granted, one of them was a garbage time run, but still, he runs hard. He's powerful. You're familiar with him. You saw him at Ohio State. You had the number right there in terms of yards after contact. That's going to continue.
Yeah.
That was a feature. That's what we always say. I'm not saying he's Nick Chubb. Don't get me wrong. But one of the great things about Nick is Nick would make a 2-yard run, a 4-yard run, a 3-yard run, an 8-yard run. I believe Quinshon has the ability to do that as well.
Man, you know what? You just sparked my interest. I wasn't going to say nothing, but I like what you just said right there. Listen, the reason I believe Quinshon Judkins and what's his name, Bond, they ain't getting suspended. See, the syndicate had already spoke. See, your boy, Jimmy Haslam, they told him, listen, I need you to go ahead and pay this off. You need to pay this off. You gave him that contract. You need to come out and apologize for giving that contract. And he is not to see the field this year. If that goes all nice and well, we let you off the hook, man. You good. You now back in the club, but you got to pay something. It's going to be some payment for that. So then you got Judkins, you got Bond. They're like, oh no, listen, don't worry, they're for rookies. Go ahead and let them get their money off. No suspension, nothing. You've already paid your get out of jail free card and your debt to society, and now you've made up with the syndicate. Now, that's my conspiracy theory of the week. Sponsored by Carmen Sandiego. Where in the world?
You think they let Quinshon and Isaiah off because of Deshaun?
He had to come back. Now Florio done talked about it. When they have a meeting and they say, hey, nobody's getting guaranteed deals, and you done gave this man a guaranteed deal, unacceptable, and Lamar Jackson ain't getting no guaranteed deal, and we suspended you 11 games. They had to make the example. The example was made, and how many times you see an owner come out prematurely and say, that was a mistake. We shouldn't have done that.
Well, it was a mistake because he's been terrible.
That's that too. But it's a mistake because
it wrecked the franchise and it put him in this position.
And so what? That's what he told him. He's like,
he also has been patient, G. This has been 3 years of the Deshaun Watson experiment.
No. I'm not saying he was good. I'm just saying the league. It's strange that there's no suspension. There's nothing. Not saying that there should have been.
Well, I think each case has to be weighed on the merits of the case.
Yeah.
Not necessarily. I don't think Deshaun had anything to do with the Quinshawn situation. Although I did think Judkins at one time, I thought he was going to be suspended.
See, I will accept any and all conspiracy theories you want to bring on the show, whether I agree with them or not. We can argue. I don't necessarily agree with this one, but I'm all for conspiracy G. All right, and let's get to stat number 2 you need to know. This is where it starts getting sad, guys. The Browns in turnovers, it's just not their thing. They have lost the turnover battle in 9 straight games. Their last forced turnover, G, was Week 16 last year.
Goodness gracious.
In the last 37 games, they have 77 turnovers. That's the most in football. They are 14 and 23 during that span. And in that 37 game span where the Browns have turned the ball over 77 times, Green Bay has forced 50 takeaways, which ranks in the top 5 in the NFL. So turnovers, just not Kevin Stefanski and his team's thing. This year, by the way, I know it's only 2 games, 4 turnovers, 0 forced turnovers. That -4 turnover differential ranked tied for 31st in the league before last night's game. I'm not sure if Miami or Buffalo surpassed them, but it was tied for 2nd worst in football through 2 weeks. You're not going to win a lot of football games losing the turnover battle that bad.
Especially when don't have a very talented offense to begin with. Some teams can overcome turnovers. This team cannot.
And you can't ask for no. That's the thing about turnovers, man. Like, you can't just plan on you getting no turnovers, except if you playing the Cleveland Browns. They're gonna give you 2 or 3 of them, and it's when you look at it, and this is the reason why they're so hamstrung and it's so difficult to win these football games. And a lot of people used to be like, man, G. Bush, why you be jumping up and down? The Duke knee jerk, bro. It's not that serious. I'm like, listen. In the minutia, in the scheme of things, one move here or not getting this person or not getting this person is not going to tank your season. But when you have a cumulative effect, my kicker can't make field goals consistently. My receivers don't get separation. When they do, they drop the ball. Our offensive line is getting older and our tackles is out here like turnstiles. We can't run the football. And on top of it, we got quarterbacks that give the ball away.
It's a bad recipe.
That right there, if you stack them, that's a bad look, bro. That's a recipe. And I don't want to get in my bag like this. But you only a couple of positions. Like, you see what happens when Denzel go out of the game. You see what happens when Myles Garrett go out. There's a couple of people propping this thing up, right, with some foundation and some stilts. You don't want that foundation to go out, because then you go from, oh, it was a tough season, to you talk about winning something quickly, especially if you got younger rookie quarterbacks that you looking to probably play later.
We've talked about the Browns' defense being pretty good so far, right?
Yeah.
Let's look at stat number 3 here, Steve, because the Browns' defense has been very good. You can see on the left, these are all of the Browns' stats of the first 2 games of the season. The only issue with this particular matchup against Green Bay is, as good as the Browns' defense has been through the first 2 weeks, Green Bay's been slightly better against maybe not better opponents, but they've played Washington and Detroit.
Oh, them is better opponents
Than Cincinnati and
yeah.
Baltimore.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty even, but you can see the numbers. These have been 2 of the best defenses in football. The Browns have 26 pressures through 2 games. The Packers have a league-leading 41. Packers have 8 sacks. Browns have 6. Pressure rate, almost identical, 42.6 for the Browns, 43.6 for the Packers. The defensive EPA per game, which is the biggest differentiation between the two, just a positive 1.01, which is still very good for Cleveland. A 6.21 positive EPA per game
insane.
For the Packers, which is number 2 in football and just an absurd number. It will not stay that high all season. Their success rate, 56.9 for the Browns, 58.5 for the Packers. And you can take the second graphic of this stat, Steve. This is the success rate for the Packers defense. They rank number 1 in defensive explosive play rate against. They've given up 1 play through 2 games of over 20 yards. There's 1 pass in garbage time through 2 games of over 20 yards, playing the Commanders and the Lions. The Browns' defense has been relatively good. They rank in the top 10 in defensive explosive play rate against. The Browns' offense has not been good. They rank 27th in explosive run rate, which is any run over 15 yards. The only run over 15 yards they have was that Quinshawn Judkins garbage time run against the Ravens, and they rank 22nd in explosive pass rate. So you're looking at 2 good defenses, and you're looking at an elite defense in terms of stopping explosive plays, and one of the league's worst offenses in terms of generating explosive offensive plays. So that matchup certainly does not favor the Browns on Sunday.
Yeah, we're going to bring this up too. We gotta bring it up. How many points the Browns get?
They have 33 in 2 games.
So let's go back and look at that last game. They had 1 run in garbage time, right? You just said that. We're going to count it, though, because he's a rookie.
No, it counts.
It counts, right? Dylan Gabriel came in.
Threw a touchdown.
That was 7 plus the rushing stats. And then you go back and look at it. The Joe Flacco touchdown to Tillman was a pick.
Yep.
That was that wasn't a tip. That was, oh my goodness, the ball is in my chest. It popped backwards. Cedric Tillman was talking to somebody in the stands, turned around, and the ball was in his lap, touchdown. They literally had 3 points. They literally had 3 points if you take away those things. And it's like, I get it, they count it or whatever, but what I'm saying is, when you playing a team like this, you ain't getting that off.
Especially if Flacco plays like he did last week. Steve, let's get to stat 4 because this kind of flies into Flacco's performance against the Ravens. The eye test said it wasn't good. The advanced numbers, G said it was even worse than we could imagine. He had a minus 26.2 EPA versus Baltimore. That's the second worst EPA for a Browns quarterback since they moved back to Cleveland in 1999. Only Deshaun Kaiser in Week 11 of 2017 was worse. He had a minus 30.8 EPA. I mentioned the Jordan Love air yards per attempt earlier in the show, 13.3. That leads the NFL. Flacco's down in the bottom fifth of the NFL at just over 7 yards per air attempt. Let's take the second one here, Steve. This one came from Jason. We talked about Flacco being a statue on the move, outside of the pocket. Maybe part of the reason Kevin Stefanski isn't drawing up some of these plays, G, was he was frankly pitiful against the Ravens in that regard. 0 for 5 with an interception, and his minus 1.06 EPA per dropback was the worst of his career outside of the pocket. Against Baltimore, Joe Flacco simply was not good enough to put the Browns in a situation to win, and that is not a good precursor to going up against one of the NFL's best defenses. Jason, you sent me this stat, so I'll let you go first on this.
Do I have to?
There's not much to say.
I mean, yeah, it goes back to what we were talking about earlier about this is why you can't run bootleg and move the pocket. I mean, that's why. It was bad. I don't think he's going to be that bad every week.
He can't be that bad.
We get hung up on, like, if it was that terrible last week, it's going to be that terrible again. Yeah. If it was that great last week, it's going to be that great again. It's so week to week in the NFL. You know, I was looking at the stat earlier about Green Bay's only giving up one play of 20-plus yards to 2 really good offenses. And I'm like, well, this is the NFL, and just when you think you got it figured out, you don't. So now Fannin and David Njoku are probably going to be running free across the field, and the Browns are going to have like 3 or 4 explosive plays, and we're going to like, well, how does that make any sense? Well, because it's the NFL, and nothing ever makes sense in the NFL. But, I mean, it is what it is. Joe, that was, I think, the 7th worst start of his career, and he's played 18 years. So Sunday was bad. It was really, really bad. I don't think it'll be that bad again, but I don't think it's going to be good.
If it's that bad again, I always tell people like this, man. Hey, it's a certain thing. If I go home and tell my parents, I'm like, yeah, me and Rosie, we having some problems. They ain't gonna look at Rosie. They gonna look at me. They gonna say, I mean, we've been through this one before, son. So yes, past does weigh in on the future. Like, you know, it's one of those things. Like, and I don't know anybody that gets older and gets more consistent. Like, I seen Tom Brady do it once, right? But
he's the anomaly.
He's the anomaly. For me, and this is the thought process that I got. You know, if you got Joe Flacco and he play again this bad,
I got to move. I'm sorry. I got to move on. Look, if you play that bad, I can't move the pocket with you. And we keep saying that he gives us the best chance to win. How do we know that? I get it. Like, I mean, we get the fact that he's seen every defense and he's seen he got the answers to the test. But it's a difference between knowing the answers and putting them down correctly when the test comes. Yeah. When the quiz is here in class, I know all the answers. But it's hard to get to them answers, especially when you're deficient in terms of your skill set and moving around and being able to execute. For me, if you can't run the ball and we can't get it there and we got to check it down, then to me,
Joe Flacco don't give me the best chance to win games. I would rather go with a younger guy and manufacture and maneuver the game plan to make it easy for him, right? We might not be able to do all the up top things and give him 6 calls at the line of scrimmage and have them protect everybody. But then again, that's what you got everybody else for. You bring all of them dudes in his office and say, listen, we got to go. We're going to go with these young dudes. Here's what I need, Ethan Pochich. I need you to make the line calls. That's what we're going to do. Hey, DeJuan, hey, we're going to simplify everything. Here's what we're going to do in this play, right? Jerry Jeudy, hey, come in here. Hey, listen, we not only need you to make the regular catches, you got to make tough catches. Because guess what?
You what we got.
This is what we got. So I believe, and Sean King said something, if you communicate as a leader and set the expectation level that I need this from everybody, maybe we can't put the whole game plan on Dylan Gabriel or Shedeur Sanders at this point. But guess what? If I keep giving them experience, I can give them a little more next week and a little more next week and get them to a point where they can be competent. But rolling Joe out here, and he's still putting up that performance, I'm going to give him another week. But after this week, if he ain't popping, you might as well go get some of the young dudes.
You know, I was just thinking about this when you were talking about Dylan. He looked fine. He played well Sunday, garbage time, right?
He didn't melt.
And it didn't count, right? Like we said, it doesn't really count. You called the score 41-10 Monday because that one didn't count.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if we get to Shedeur and he plays in garbage time and he balls out, doesn't count, right?
No. Let me get this.
I'm just wondering.
No. Here's
If it don't count with Dylan.
No. Here's what I'm saying. It don't count in the totality of that specific game. Oh, the Ravens, we got 4. But in terms of Dylan Gabriel and whether or not that success counts for him, sure it counts for him. Like that's part of his maturation.
Look at the way he slipped out of the pocket. Look at the way he slipped out. You move faster than Joe Flacco.
That counts for him, right? That counts. That's oh, listen, it's my first NFL game. I'm playing the Ravens. I'm on the road. I'm gonna go down and take that score. But if you ask me, if you Kevin Stefanski, you can't go in front of people. I actually said it was 41-3 because I took Joe's off the board too.
Yeah, true.
I saw. I like that don't count, bro. That was gonna be nasty work.
True.
So I took them off the board, But for me, I'm an advocate. Here's the thing. Here's the great thing Zach Jackson said. Now, Zach says he don't believe Dylan Gabriel can be a quarterback, right? He don't believe he can be a quarterback in this league. Here's what I'm saying. I might not necessarily believe in Dylan Gabriel's long-term chance to be a franchise quarterback, but you know what I am willing to do that a lot of people aren't? I'm willing to see.
To give him a shot.
I'm willing to get the opportunity because if he comes out and plays well, I got to keep it a buck and say he played well. But here's what I'm not against. Here's what I'm 100% not against. I'm not for sitting here saying he's not ready. Nah, I want to see if he's ready. Give him the opportunity to prove himself. That's all I want. I want to show prove. I believe games count. I believe reps count. I believe all that counts. So in terms of it, and I'll keep it 100%. That's why I went to the drops on Jerry Jeudy and them, because I know what we will do. If Jerry Jeudy drops them same footballs and they turn into interceptions for Shedeur Sanders or Dylan Gabriel, guess what we're going to say? We're going to say, bro, you got to catch that and hit you in your hand. So I got to keep.
Especially when it's a rookie.
Especially when it's rookie. Now I got to keep the same energy and say, hey, you got to catch that for Joe, Jerry, because people are not going to hear that when these rookies is playing.
And we did put that on Jerry.
We put it on him. We put it on him.
I don't think Dylan's a long-term franchise starting quarterback in the league either. I was just having fun with you.
But I like that.
It was good.
I like that. He almost, you see that? The senator from Avon is really, I like that.
We got one last stat. The Browns did a really good job containing Derrick Henry last week, right? I think it was 10 rushes, 23 yards, whatever it was. They held him in check. I saw this on Twitter this morning. I actually added a late addition to the 5-pack of stats you need to know. But Josh Jacobs is quietly on one of the best touchdown streaks in football. Have you guys heard about this? He scored a touchdown in 11 straight games.
No.
11 straight games.
That's why I drafted him
in those 11 games, he has 14 touchdowns. The NFL record is 17 straight games. That was Christian McCaffrey in 2013. If he scores against the Browns on Sunday, it'll be his 12th straight game with a touchdown since 1990. Only 5 running backs have ever done that. You ready for this list? You can see the initials on the screen. McCaffrey, Derrick Henry, LaDainian Tomlinson, Emmitt Smith, and Arian Foster. Josh Jacobs would be just the 6th running back since 1990 to score a touchdown in 12 straight games. If he can score against the Browns on Sunday. So Cleveland, don't let him join that list. Keep him out of the end zone. And those are your 5 stats that you need to know.